off the bat. Are we live? No. Okay. Let me. Sure. It's up to you if you think that's better. All right. Let me mute YouTube. There's a delay. Pop out chat. God, you guys are lucky that we let you see all this stuff behind the scenes of how fucking whack we are. But I like it. Here he comes. I see something. I see the name Rich. You think it'll be Rich Froning Sr. or Rich Froning Jr.? Oh, it's Rich Froning Jr. Shit. I knew I got my phone numbers mixed up.
It's going to be Junior.
What happened? Your dad couldn't make it? Look at this, Rich. Rich, you may have a worse connection than the co-host, Brian Friend. And he's gone. Hey, maybe we'll have to reschedule this and all you guys will just have to just get screwed. We'll all get screwed. Did you guys see Rich for a second? I saw him pop up for a second. Let me text him. I saw you for a minute. Your connection is suboptimal. I would have told Rich that if Rich was any other guest, I would have told him his connection is shit, but it is Rich, you know. Why do all these athletes do interviews from their cars? I think that what's happened is that you got old guys like me, 49 years old, and then you got this younger generation who just uses phones. Unless you're a dork like Ryan and Brian, they still have computers, or maybe they're just overachievers. I don't know. Oh, I know, Katie. I know. It might just be a teaser. We'll see what happens. This is really, really casual. I'll explain to you guys how this came together. I don't think anyone's more excited than me. I'm very curious if Rich is excited. God knows why he's doing this. I am... And the show's over. Thanks, guys. If you'd like to see more of Rich Froning, we'll be doing another interview in 6 months. We like to keep these interviews short and tight. We don't want to waste anyone's time. And thank you for coming on. Okay, guys, I'm going to turn off this Instagram live. Rich is getting a Wi-Fi connection, and then we should be good. Bam. Adios. Okay, back to YouTube Live. Oh, it's not disrespect to be on your phone. It's a generational thing. You know, there's these group of people who think like it's rude if you're at dinner with people and they're texting, and it's just like, hey, that's just the way it is now. I mean, not for me. Well, I'm not above that shit, actually. I was going to get on my high horse, but I better stay off it for a second. Ryan, you got to figure out this split screen stuff. Yeah, blame Brian. Thank you so much. Because you guys are always yelling at me for moving the screens around. And just so you know, there's a delay, and I don't even watch the YouTube version. So you guys think I'm watching the YouTube version, but I'm not. Rich and I are watching on some like outside software called Riverside. Yeah, that's awesome, Rich. That's a great angle for you, too.
I'm on Wi-Fi now. So. Hey, thanks. I've got it. The phone is sitting in a shoe, like a kid's shoe right now. So got all this high-tech equipment.
Where are you?
In my truck. It's a quiet place, away from the kids.
At your house?
Yeah. It's my studio, you know?
Rich Froning from the Mayhem Empire has probably one of the most beautiful podcast studios known to man, and yet
we were in my truck.
He is not soft, and he continues to challenge himself in situations where failure can occur.
Yeah. Well, yeah, truck works.
Uh, I know you guys want to hear Rich speak, but I got to go off for just a second and explain something to you.
Let's go.
So when I was in 2010 or 11, I can't remember, I heard about this guy named Rich Froning. CrossFit was exploding. I was at the beginning of, it was a very small media team. I went out and saw Rich. I felt I was super duper into photography, and I felt like meeting Rich was cheating. I was immediately blown away. You couldn't take a bad picture of him. He was cool as shit. He was accommodating beyond belief. He introduced me to his wife, his mom, his dad. He let me into his home. I stayed for a week, I think on a couple occasions. And at the time, Rich didn't have a wife. He didn't have kids. I think he maybe just bought his first home. And I was in a similar situation. I didn't have a wife. I didn't have kids. Neither of us really had money. And we were both, there was, when we came together, I think, I can't speak for Rich, but it was two guys who were really embracing life and going hard and having a blast. And for me, it was love at first sight. And over the years, as Rich's life grew, and you have 4 kids now, Rich?
3.
Oh, okay. Do you know how many I have?
You have 4, right?
3.
3.
Perfect.
3.
Yeah, good answer.
Okay. I don't have social media anymore, so.
You don't. Well, we'll get to that. So, once you hear, after your friends, no matter how close they are, after they have 1 kid, you just stop counting.
Oh, you're done. It's done. Yeah, for sure.
So now Rich has homes, coffee shops, one wife, one wife too, right? One wife. I got, okay. And you guys all know what he's doing. You've seen it. I'm sure we don't know all what he's doing, but he's a very, very busy man. And my life has grown too. And over those years, Rich and I, because we had an intimate connection in the early years when there wasn't a lot of stuff around us, we connected. And over the years, we grew apart. And as his business grew and my business grew, there were times when there were bumps in the road. And I wouldn't say anything of it was I never saw any of it as part of his character. I don't know if he saw it as part of my character. I think we both know that there were a lot more pieces. But then when the two of us came together and it was just man to man, we would always stay connected. But we did drift apart, and it wasn't something I enjoyed. But we both had to do what we had to do, and there's no like vicious drama. It all worked out great for us. But what is really weird, what is really telling about Rich is that he has no reason to come on this podcast. And there's
I wanted to talk to you. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so I'm excited, and I'm super duper excited that he's letting me leverage wanting to talk to me by helping me pursue this whole podcast thing. So it's huge. This is like a huge moment for me. So you guys bear with me and bear with Rich here.
I'm happy to see you again.
Yeah, you're the man, buddy. You're the man. I own when Rich won the CrossFit Games. You're still with Reebok, Rich?
Yes. Yep. I've got 2 years left on my contract, 2.5.
And is that the original contract you signed?
No, this would be my 3rd contract with them.
Awesome. Congratulations, man.
Thank you. Thank you.
When Rich won the CrossFit Games, I bought, I didn't buy. I asked Reebok for 10 of these shirts, and they thought I was ridiculous. I wear at least one Rich Froning shirt every single day. That's not hyperbole. It is like my go-to shirt. Usually when the day's over, I slap on one of these, and I have 10 from this year and 10 from the year after. And I know people think I'm crazy, and they're like, but it's just the way it is.
It's just the way it is. I appreciate that. Thanks for the support.
Are you terrified that Tommy Hackenbrook's putting a team together for next year? Are you just shivering in your boots?
I love Tommy. No, I love Tommy. I just heard about this yesterday, actually. Andrea texted us. Or no, who told me? Andrea told us that Christy Ermo's putting together a team. Who else? Somebody else. one of the guys that works out in the barn in the afternoons said that Tommy posted something about it. Like I said, last March, I guess it was, I removed all social media from my phone, so I don't really know anything about what's going on in the CrossFit world day to day.
So you're not even doing your own Instagram anymore?
So what I do is we have Jennifer at Mayhem runs it. I either clean up, she'll either write up something, like if it's a sponsor, something that we have to get in. I don't really touch those that much. But for the most part, I'll send a picture or, hey, will you put this tag on it or whatever. I just got to where, and you know how it is, you get connected or get on your phone and it just kind of snowballs, and it was taking time away from my family. And there was no good coming out of social media for me. And so I decided to kind of step back from it and have not turned back since, and absolutely love it, to be honest. So it is essentially me on my Instagram, but I'm not typing any of the stuff that goes onto the actual app.
And there's so much access to you on all the media you guys have going anyway.
Yeah, we do a lot of YouTube and, all of our Mayhem athlete stuff. We have kind of a live stream that, we do a lot of back and forth with people. So, I just, like I said, I'm weak when it comes to that stuff. The algorithm knows how to attack me. And so I'd rather spend that time with my kids. So it's been good.
Is it, so it would be scrolling, not DMs?
Yeah, scrolling. I would just, and I didn't even follow anybody. I would just go to the Discover, and before you know it, you're, 20 clicks deep. And I was like, all right, there's nothing productive coming out of this.
So what do you do when you go to the bathroom now?
I try to either look at sports news. I try to stay away from anything real world news. I mean, I do read into that stuff, but man, there's just so much happening on the planet to bring you down. It's tough.
Yeah. How do you stay within a pretty tight radius of your compound?
Of my compound? Yeah, everybody kind of talks about that, but yeah, I'm a homebody. I like being home. We do travel quite a bit, but if I'm here, I try to stay here as much as I can. I just, I like to, the barn where we train, I'd say 75% of the time is within 100 yards of the house, so the kids can come back and forth and in and out, and they make up their own workouts or just trash everything else around here. Or if I go to the gym, 9 times out of 10 they'll go with me and just kind of hang out and run around. So they really like hanging out with Dad right now, and I know in probably 5 or 6 years they're not going to want to hang out with Dad as much. So I want to get as much in as I can and have as much time with them right now while they do like me.
Could you stay, like, would a 3-day period go by and you didn't leave the property?
Yeah, that happens pretty regularly.
Yeah, that's awesome. So you've made your own, I don't know what the word is, Garden of Eden.
Oasis.
Oasis.
Yes.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The only thing we're missing at this point, I would like to have some type of pool. Just it gets so dang hot. We will go up to, like, for swimming, like actual swimming laps. That's really the only piece of equipment or piece of anything that I'm missing from my entire fitness. Like, we just built some trails up in the woods, so we can now mountain bike in the woods if we want to. Like I said, pool is pretty much all we're missing.
What are you waiting for?
I don't know. It's a lot of money.
It is a lot of money, right? Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. And you probably want something crazy too, right?
I would like to have a lap pool. That's my only thing about it, is I'd like to have one lane of a lap pool. That's not too much to ask, but the wife thinks it is.
So what are you saying, like a 20 by 50 pool or a 10 by 50, or are you thinking a lane next to a giant pool for the kids?
A lane next to a pool that the kids can enjoy. I mean, how kids and pools, it's the only way to get them to sleep, in the summer. It keeps them busy for hours. So really, honestly, that's what it's all about. Is like, I want the kids to, be active, and they love that type of stuff, getting in the pool. And like I said, it's a really good babysitter. You just kind of hang out and watch them.
How many acres are you on?
We have 165 now. 165.
And does that stress you out?
We've got the bison herd on probably 50 of it. So that probably 50 of it needs to be overly maintained. The rest of it is just pretty much woods, and then a little bit of pasture that we use for some hay. We have some horses too out the other side, so it doesn't really stress me out. There's not a, there's some work. Obviously, you need to make sure the fences and all that stuff are good, and the animals are all right. The cool thing about bison is they're pretty hands off. They're really cool to look at, though. There's a ton of history with them, and there's just something, I don't know, primal, I guess, about looking out and seeing bison in the front yard.
I have a half acre and it stresses me out. I mean,
Honestly,
I enjoy it, but fuck, man, there's a lot to do.
well, there's a half acre. There's a lot more. You can see it. It's, kind of front and center. With the 165 acres. A lot of it you don't even see because it's woods and all that type of stuff. So, yeah, it is stressful, but it's a good stress. I mean, my parents. There's always something to do. So, for me, it's a lot of the same. Where I just, something to do and something for the kids. It's been pretty cool. The whole reason we started the farm in the first place was, growing up, we didn't live on a working farm, but we had chores and stuff to do. So I wanted the kids and, wanted us to have some chores and some stuff that we could take care of together. And so it's come full circle. The coolest thing was, I guess, last December. It's starting to, spit snow. It was kind of a crappy evening, and I had to go put out hay for the bison. And Lakeland looks at me and she's like, "Oh, I want to go." And I'm like, "Lakeland, it's dark. It's 30 degrees outside. It's like, it's not fun out. Like, you can help me tomorrow." And she's like, "No, I'm coming. I want to help." And so for an hour we were out there putting hay out, and she was right there with me. And, in my head, I'm like, man, this is why we did this in the first place. So it's been pretty cool. Like this morning, it's this time of year, I get to spend a lot more time and a lot less stressed with the kids. And so this morning, Lakeland went to school, so me and the little two went out and checked fences, and just got out there and kind of checked. We put the bison in a new pasture out back, and they haven't been out in that one yet, so I just wanted to make sure they were kind of handling it okay. And so me and the little two went out there, and while we were driving in the truck, we found some turkey feathers. So they're fighting over who gets which turkey feather. And you know how it is, kids, man. I don't know about your kids, but my kids just pick at each other and just fight all the time. And that's really the only source of any type of them in trouble all the time, is like they just pick at each other. But it is what it is, kids.
How old are your kids?
Lakeland is 7. Trice, so Richard the third, he is 4, and then Violet is 3.
Yeah, what's interesting is when they're in the house, there's a lot of that picking on each other and a lot of that fighting. But like if you open the door and like let them out into the wild, it just kind of like.
Yeah, that is pretty good for us, I will say. Except for we have an in-ground trampoline, and they just fight, the wrestle. Hillary is, she's a mama bear, so she grew up with a sister, so she doesn't understand that. Hey, a little wrestling's okay. Like I tell them, ground game is okay, but once you start swinging, then we're having problems, But she does not stand for that. She does not appreciate that or like that.
Yeah, my kids wrestle a lot. The kicking in the face is hard to watch.
Yeah,
I try not to step in, but I'm not good at it. I always, no, we're not going to kick in the face.
No, we're not doing that. Or if they're running away and Lakeland comes up and just shoves him Trice from the back, which happens a lot, especially if he's going towards
no clipping,
something
no
concrete
clipping
or something.
Yep.
Exactly. I'm like, no shoving in the back. So I try to let them handle most of their stuff between them, but I do step in quite a bit. I get in trouble more though for not stepping in than I do for stepping in. But
right, me too. There's the what are the roles? The mom's role is to nurture.
Yeah,
it's the mom's role is kind of to protect the kids from the dad.
Yeah, it's accurate. That's definitely accurate in our situation. Yeah, I'm the roughhouser, or I'm a glorified playmate. I'm not good with kids until they're about 8 months to 9 months old. I'm a glorified playmate. That's the whole deal with me. And Hillary's an incredible nurturer. She's an incredible mother. She is a protector and just wants them safe, and she's incredible with that. And I want my kids safe, but I want them to learn how to be safe by doing dangerous things,
Right. I fully get it. It's funny. I over the years, when you stepped away from individual competition, one of the reasons, as I recall, that you gave was that like, hey, I need to spend more time with my family. And I always wondered, until hearing you talk now, I wonder if that's true, because it's hard to see that from the outside because you're doing team and you're doing so much. But look, here we are 10 minutes into the conversation, and you're telling me about last night going out with Lakeland and today going out with your kids. So you really are getting in that kid time.
Well, yeah, I mean, honestly, the biggest thing is I probably train similar to the amount of time, if we're being 100% honest. But when I'm done training, I'm done training. I'm not all consumed, obsessed with what I'm going to do tomorrow. I mean, obviously, there's probably 6 weeks out of the year, the final 6 weeks leading up to the games, where that is in my head. But this time of year, even when I was an individual, I was thinking about, all right, what do I got to do? I still need to maintain. I got to do this. I got to do that. I mean, to be the best in the world at anything, I mean, you talked to Matt quite a bit. You know, you have to be obsessed to be the best. And I knew that I couldn't do that and be a dad. And so, like I said, I still train probably as much. I'm a lot smarter about, how I, get in, get out, all that type of stuff. But I'm not, when I'm done training, I'm not thinking about what I need to be doing training wise next, or stress if I miss something. Like there was times this year where Lakeland had soccer games on Saturday morning relatively early, or, right around the time we would normally train, and I'd miss that session. I'd make it up later somehow. But it wasn't either with the whole group or whatever it was, and I wasn't probably doing as much as I thought I would need to do. But she's definitely more important than a missed training session.
So really, it's like that. It's like Hillary will tell, you'll see pop up on your calendar, or Hillary will tell you, hey, Lakeland has a soccer game Saturday at 9 a.m. and you won't do your training. You'll go to the soccer game, huh?
Yeah, I won't. Yeah, or I might get up a little bit earlier than I normally would, an hour or two earlier, and try to get something in. We're all psychos, and I think you're probably the same way, where I need to do something, or else I'm not pleasant to be around.
Yeah.
We've been doing this so long that it's like, all right, I just need to get out of breath, break a sweat, something like that, just to make me feel better, I guess. And so, that might happen, or I might, like I said, do it later on, whatever it is, but it might not be the whole quality of session that I normally would on a Saturday. So, and that's really where the point, like when I get to the point where I feel like I'm missing more of that stuff, training wise, and not a valued or productive member of the team, that's when I'll step away from that as well. It's the kids are always going to, and my parents were incredible with that. We're always the kids are going to be at the forefront for sure.
This morning, you and I were texting. We were trying to set up a time, and you're like, "Hey, I'm going to grab a workout, and then let's do this." And I said, "Okay."
Yep.
And then I'm like thinking to myself, "Fuck this guy. This guy's going to go get all clear-eyed and shit, and bright-eyed, and be all alert."
And you're not.
Yeah, and I'm not. So I'm like, "All right." So I text you back. I'm like, "Okay, I'm going to ride the assault bike for 15 minutes hard, jump in the shower. I'm not going to let him."
Yep. Can't one up. You can't FOMO that.
You probably did a lot more than 15 minutes on the assault bike, but for me, that was like, okay, and I pushed really hard, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to let him be sharper than me.
There you go. That mental clarity of the fitness just kind of clears out all the junk.
But you didn't shower, I bet.
I did not. No, I'm still in. I sweat. It's kind of, everybody jokes or makes fun of me because I never have a shirt on. But if I'm to wear a shirt through a workout, it's going to add probably another 10 pounds with how much I sweat. So
vest training. It's vest training when you wear a shirt.
Well, yeah. Well, earlier we did a vest workout. So there's two things that I'm kind of training for right now. We're doing an off-road triathlon next weekend. So it's more of a sprint. It's just an 800 swim, a 17-mile mountain bike, and then a 3.5-mile trail run. I did one last year. I've done a couple triathlons, and I just didn't really enjoy the on-the-road versions, but we did an off-road one last year and had a ton of fun. So we're doing that. So I'm kind of preparing for that a little bit. When I say training, like I'm just adding a little bit of an endurance session every couple of days, just so I don't look like a jackass out there with all the actual really good endurance people. And then we're going on an elk hunt in September, kind of backwoods, backcountry. And so preparing for that. So today we just it was like a 400-meter jog, a 30 box step ups to 20 inches, and then a 240-foot sled push for 8 rounds. So it was like 40 something minutes. So it was just kind of a slow grind with a 20-pound vest.
Who's we?
Me and Angelo DeChico.
Awesome. Is he all there all year round? That guy?
Yeah. So Angelo lives in Cookeville. He's a firefighter at Cookeville City Fire. We kind of joke that Angelo did my career in reverse, where he won the games as a teen and then went to be a firefighter. But no, Angelo is a great kid. He's going through EMT school right now. But firefighting, and then I think he's doing the Madrid event in October, I think. So he's kind of training for that right now. Did really well in the semifinal. I was proud of him. He wasn't really going to compete this year, and we needed an alternate. And so I said, hey, I need you to do the open. So he did the open, and then qualified for a semifinal or for a quarterfinal, and then through the quarterfinals qualified for the semifinal. So it's been good to have him around. He's a good kid. He's an idiot like all of us at 21, 22. But he's a good kid, and proud of him, proud of what he's doing. So he's going on the elk hunt with us and actually doing the triathlon with us. So we've been kind of grinding.
What a trip just to have someone just in the stable of athletes around you that you're like, hey, we need you as an alternate. Make sure you get past get to the semifinals.
Right. Yeah.
Rich, do you know anyone who sweats more than you? Have you ever like looked over at someone and been like, oh shit, you sweat a lot?
There's people that sweat probably equal to me, but I'm a pretty aggressive sweater. So one of Scott Vandersloot, one of our camera guys, he sweats pretty good.
Oh, that's tough as a camera guy. That's tough.
Yeah.
Scott,
that's not good. He works. Scott
like his
works
hands sweat and
too.
shit.
He's just like, you'll look at him and he's, he does a lot of moving though while we're working out. Like, he's very involved camera guy, but he gets pretty sweaty. There's been a couple of times where I'm like, wow, that's impressive. So,
wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's a lot
have
of
you
people
ever
sweat a lot.
have you ever destroyed a weight vest? Have you ever had to retire a weight vest because you've sweated out? Like,
I was looking at mine today. It's from the games, I guess, in 16, maybe when we got them, and it's about to that point where it's starting to unravel. So I think it's time.
Like it's
started to poke me in spots, like it has some like
salt buildup. Salt buildup.
Yeah, it's gross. Yeah, it's gross.
It weighed 10 pounds when you got it with no plates, and now it weighs 15 because of all the salt.
Yeah, exactly.
Rich, I'm reading this book. The last couple of books I've read is a book called Range and a book called Bounce, and then and the premise is like that there's really people with a broad range of skills. It's better to have a broad range of skills than be a specialist. Mm-hmm. And I remember hearing you say, early on that that you, as much as you love CrossFit, that you think kids should be playing a lot of different sports and a lot of different activities. Yep. And then I was reading this book Bounce, and it's talking about what to say to kids, basically what you can say to ruin them and what you can say to make them achieve. And then I keep seeing confirmation of it. One of the confirmations I saw the other day was I saw Khabib. Do you know who that is? Nurmagomedov.
Yeah, UFC guy.
Yeah.
Champion.
And he was saying that after his fights, he would win a fight, and then he would call his dad back in Russia, and his dad would tell him his dad would never say, hey, congratulations. His dad would just tell him all the things he's done wrong. And in this book Bounce, they were saying that like, hey, you shouldn't tell a kid that they're smart, because when you tell a kid that they're smart and they start to believe it, what it does is it builds a fear of failure in them, because then they don't want to try anything that would expose the fact that they're not smart, because they're living up to their parents trying to say they're smart. And so if I understood the book correctly, basically the thing to tell your kid is man, you're a hard worker. Man, you're a hard worker. Because in the end, hard work is what pays off. Just grind.
Yep.
And to tie this back, and I would like to get your input on it, but to tie it back, when I first came out to visit you, your dad, jokingly in jest, but I'm sure there's some truth to it, said, hey, the only reason why Rich Froning Jr. is so fit is because of his chores. I put this kid to work. Yep. Does any of that resonate with you? How did your dad encourage you to like not be afraid of failure? How did your mom encourage you to not be afraid of failure? And were you always just a grinder?
Honestly, I think, with my parents, there's
like, who were you trying to impress?
I think them. I think, there's a lot of things I think that go into, just why, it's almost like a perfect storm of a bunch of things. I grew up, we did like chores. I used to get so, like mad when my friends would come over, because my parents, I just felt like they were like, ooh, more hands for chores. When I would go up to Michigan, my aunts, it was like, hey, we had chores to do. There was all these types. There was a ton of us cousins. So, but my parents, I guess, I say that to say, they didn't just, hey, go do this, fix this, whatever. They were either out there with us or doing something else working. So they led by example. There was never like, I didn't feel like they were telling us just to make us do something. It was like something needed to get done, and they were going to go do their, you know, whatever they had to get done. And so they're I always say that they're the two hardest working people in any room that I've ever been in. And so for me, the leadership style that I've always had is not a ton of words. I'm not, gonna do a rah-rah pep speech or anything like that. I really hate. I'm not a huge fan of slogans or like, motivational speeches or I like, motivational talk, that type of stuff. It's more of a lead by example. And so um, there was that. There was as a kid, on my mom's side alone, there's 32 of us first cousins, 25 of us are boys. The 7 girls are just as good of athletes as the 25 boys. And so every family get together, it was, hey, let's see who can run around the pond the fastest. Let's see who can swim across the fastest, who can ride their bike the fastest. And so as a kid, I thought that was, hey, they want us to see who the most dominant cousin is. And now I realize they were just trying to make us tired. Now that I have kids, I'm like, oh, I get it now. But at the time, it was this competition that was, fight to the death for the greatest cousin. And so I don't know, all of those type of things, I guess, kind of blended into why I am the way that I am, and how I either parent or how I compete or anything like that. And so, I know that there's some holes in a lot of that stuff, but it all kind of worked out in the end, I think.
So culturally, it sounds like my upbringing too. My parents were always the first one awake.
Mm-hmm.
I can't ever remember seeing my mom or dad ever sleep in.
Right.
And they were the last one up at night.
Mm-hmm.
And they were, and they didn't, and when they went to bed, they weren't watching TV. They were like working, cleaning the kitchen. My mom was an attorney. She'd have her shit set out on the table. My dad would be like at the store late. So, and you're right. That's interesting. And my parents, and I said, who are you trying to impress? But maybe the other side of the coin is who are you trying not to let down?
Let down.
Right?
Yep.
It's kind of like the same thing.
Yep.
Yeah. And that other thing that they said about people telling you that you're smart, that really resonated with me too, because as a child, I remember like people were always telling me, you're so smart, you're so smart, you're so smart. And then I never wanted to do anything that would expose the fact that I wasn't smart. But hard work was always like grinding and like, hey, dig that hole. Well, you can't fuck that up. So I was like, yeah, I can do that. Or like we would go to a banquet or something, someone would be like, set the table. And you're like, yeah, I'll fold more napkins than any other kid here and I'll fold them better.
Right.
But you probably weren't. So when you said chores, you probably had different chores than me. Like I was told, like, get the vacuum cleaner and dust the corners. And that would take
we had that. I did that type of stuff. We had, house, depending on time of the year, but there were house chores. There were like, we had to weed flower beds. We had to, my mom used to, which is crazy. She would, around trees in the yard, she would want us to edge and pull all the weeds away from the tree. And I'm like, what the hell? What? We had to we had these kind of apple trees on the property. We'd have to pick up sour apples so they wouldn't, get bees all over the place. And I don't know, like it was just, at the time, I'm like, what? Why are we doing this stupid stuff? But now I look back and I'm like, all right, I appreciate that it's, hey, you can go do the lowliest job there is because somebody's got to do it. And like I said, my parents, and they were never above doing any of that stuff. They just, if they had more hands to help, they were going to have more hands to help.
Did your mom have an edger? Like a stick with
shovel.
that? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I know what you're talking about. Stick with the wheel. Yeah, no, we just used a shovel, and you just kind of like, you wouldn't really dig it. You just kind of pop it up, and then you'd pull the weeds and tamp out the dirt, and then chuck the dirt, and you'd come by with a wheelbarrow and pick it up. My aunt, she, if the grass got too long when she would mow, they had 5-6 acres, and she had 6 boys. She would mow, and it was before they had like baggers for the extra grass clippings. And so we'd have to walk around with a wagon, scrape up some grass, throw it in the wagon, pitch it in the weeds. And, for 2.5 hours, we would do that. That was the worst. And then if you got in trouble, they had a big pond. And in Michigan, you have swimming ponds, and they'd have decorative rocks around it. If you got in trouble, you'd pick weeds for 45 minutes or whatever it was. So
like out of the decorative rocks.
I hate weeding. That's the one thing on this planet I absolutely despise.
Yeah, I was scarred from that as a kid too. And whoever invented that wheel should have their ass beat.
Yep, exactly.
Because that's horrible. What do you do? What do you do? Do you have any stuff like that you do, domestic stuff that you do that would surprise us? Like every morning I wake up, I take the dog out at 6 a.m. and I walk around my backyard barefoot with like 5 poop bags. Just like I'm like
Cleaning up poop.
obsessed with like there not being any poop that my kids step in. Or
Yeah.
like I love doing the wash. I don't like folding the clothes, but I love
Yeah.
putting the clothes in the wash and putting the soap in and making sure like it gets an extra rinse and all that. Do you do any of that stuff?
Oh man, I do all of it really. You know, I don't really clean up poop. Our dogs are pretty good about going outside the yard. But
When's the
you know,
last time you stepped in poop?
last time I stepped in poop or Tri
Yeah.
stepped in poop.
That-
Last time I've stepped in poop's been a while.
oh,
I
good.
feel like
Okay.
the kids randomly step in poop, but it's been a long time actually. Honestly, I don't know if their feet because the rubber around the barn out here is so dirty. I guess just from outside weather and stuff. That Trice yesterday looked like he came out of a coal mine. His shins were black. His stomach's black because he didn't have a shirt on. He had like black on his face, all this everywhere. So, yeah, there could have been some shit in there. Who knows? But yeah, no, I mean, I vacuum. You know, there's never any, like, we don't have any, I guess, gender assigned chores. Like, if something needs to be vacuumed, I'll vacuum. If Hillary wants to vacuum, she'll vacuum. You know.
Uh-oh, we lost him. We lost him. We lost you. Rich, we lost you. We lost your audio. Ryan, you have any thoughts on that? Is that my fault or is that Rich's fault? Can you guys not hear me or you don't hear Rich? Oh, good. That makes me feel so much better.
Still hear me?
I hate vacuuming. You know, I don't like. Oh, I don't like vacuuming because I don't like breaking the vacuum cleaner out, and I don't like putting the cord away. But like sometimes my wife will vacuum and leave it out, and so then I'll be like, "Shit, I'll get a few miles in on this thing." But then I just put it back in the corner and hope someone else riles the cord up.
We have the central vac.
Oh, that's nice.
And so it is nice, but it's also a pain in the ass as well. I don't really know. Like sometimes you have this little mess, right? That you got to clean up. But you have to get this, 25-foot piece of hose out and coil it up, and it's usually downstairs because it's the only place it's out of the. You know what? Honestly, what I hate the most?
What?
Turning lights off.
Oh,
because everybody in my house turns the lights on, upstairs, downstairs. Like we have 3 levels with the basement, and the kids play downstairs. Well, they leave all the lights on downstairs. Well, then at the end of the night, they played upstairs at some point, and they left the lights on upstairs. And so I have to, and I'm usually really sore by the end of the day, so I have to shuffle downstairs, turn off all the lights, shuffle all the way back upstairs, turn off the lights, because the kids are afraid to go in the dark once they turn off the lights, that type of deal. So it's, being.
That's a sign that you're getting old. That's
old.
Awesome.
Oh, that's what it is.
Are you like, shit, I sound like my parents?
I know, right?
You said you mentioned getting sore. When I was, how old are you? You're 35?
34, yeah, just turned 34.
Okay, so I found CrossFit when I was 34, and when I would work out, I would get sore the next day. Now I'm 49, and sometimes it takes me 2 days to get sore. It's bizarre. I'm assuming that's normal as you get older, but I'll be like the next day I'll be like, shit, I'm not sore at all. I'm a beast.
I'm good.
And then the next day I'm crippled. Are you noticing that your soreness is taking longer and longer to set in?
Yeah, it usually is now like either the afternoon after a hard day or the next morning.
Who's calling you, Rich? Who's calling you? I'm gonna text him and slap him around.
Random people. That was that was one that I don't even know. So, and so it. You still hear me? I don't know why it's doing it.
I'm here. Okay. I hear you.
Okay, so it was this week. We kind of still do some stuff with Coach B, and so I was doing some. I guess.
Hey guys, his audio went out again. Rich, your audio went out again. Rich. Hey, Rich, your audio went out. I'm waggling my finger at him, hoping he'll see it that we can't hear him. Oh, maybe he can't see me. That's why he's not stopping talking. Ryan, what do you think? What's going on? How come he's still talking? Do I have to text him? We can't hear you. I can't hear you. We need a signal so when I can't hear him. Bam. Not now either. Hi, babe. Well, it's going good. We got Rich on. We got his face on. That's like 51%, but we just have it struggling with audio a little bit. But we see his face. That's always a good part of the show. Yeah. Don't worry, Rich. My wife says all we need is your face. Nope, can't hear you. That would be an incredible way to end the show, right? We're just warming up. I said it before that Ford hacked into his phone. Who's Ford? That truck is beeping like mad once in a while. Yeah, it's good. It's all good. This is the best CF podcast, but Breathe, Move, Adapt is closing ground. Breathe, Move, Adapt. Let's go check it out. God, I hope they take over so I can go back to my kids.
How's that?
Good. Hey, Rich.
I'm in airplane mode now, so hopefully that'll fix it.
Oh, that's awesome. That gave me a chance to read some of the comments. It sounds like that there's a better podcast than mine coming up. It's called Breathe, Move, Adapt.
Oh, nice. Who's that?
Yeah. I don't know, but I'm excited about it because then I can stop podcasting. I'm only doing it because I'm the best.
There you go.
I feel an obligation. So soreness. Sorry, I missed the soreness thing. So your soreness is changing as you get older.
Yeah, so it's usually 2 days. I was saying that we do a lot of stuff with Coach B, and for some reason he decided after the games that the cycle was a lot of heavy squatting, and so on Monday there was some back squats and then some front squats, and it wasn't incredible, like nothing high percentage, but it was kind of a 10-8 and then 3 sets of 6 and then 4 or 5 sets of 5 front squat. And by Wednesday I was more sore than I was after the CrossFit game, so that was fun.
Did you know that Jacob Hepner and Josh are supposed to fight? And I say supposed to.
I saw both of them at the games, and I've talked to Josh a little bit about his boxing career.
And it started off that it was going to be in Vegas, and then it moved to Jacksonville, Florida. And you probably don't know this since you're not on social media, but now it's been moved to Dubai.
Oh, wow.
And the guy on the main card, the guy from Game of Thrones, I think is I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Hafthor.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. He was strongman, right?
Yes, sir. And he was supposed to fight Eddie Hall, and I guess that guy dropped out due to an injury. So it's got some issues. Although I'm still excited to see whatever. Oh, do you know who Maurice Pujanowski is? Of course, you know who that is, right?
Yeah,
strongman from when we were kids. Right? Yeah. Yep. I guess he's going to step up and possibly fight him. Is there anything, and it sounds like some of these guys, it sounds like, Josh does like boxing, but it sounds like some of these other guys, like Jacob Hepner, when he came on the podcast, was very clear that basically he's doing it for the money. I mean, he likes new sports, but if the money wasn't right, he wouldn't do it. Is there anything that would you do something like that if the money was right? Like, would you do, like, I know people are always saying, hey, he should do a one-on-one with Matt Fraser as a CrossFit workout, or would you ever do a boxing, like, if the money was right? Like, if someone was like, hey, Rich, we want you to fight Josh, and after he beats up Jacob Hepner, here's $500,000.
Yeah, I mean, for the right money, you can't. I got kids, I got stuff to think about in the future. So yeah, I mean, as much as people want to say money doesn't matter, it does. Money does speak. So I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it. I don't like getting hit. I wouldn't want to get hit in the face. I'm pretty soft when it comes to that. So
how much would it take for you to fight Hafthor, to go to Dubai and fight Hafthor?
He'd probably kill me with one punch. So it probably a lot, it depends on what my hospital bills are and how that's what it's going to cost in damage to the future. That's the big problem.
It's crazy that they have to find someone to fight him.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's not crazy. Have you seen the guy? He's huge.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Like, how are they going to find someone?
You can't find, like, the genetics don't exist.
Yeah, it's nuts.
I don't think, right?
It would be very dangerous. So off social media, When you work out, do you have your phone near you?
Yeah. I mean, in the barn wherever we're at, but not on me.
Do you check your text? Like if you're in there, how long is a session? Like 1 or 2 hours? How long was your
It
session this morning?
This morning was that 45 minute, an hour probably total with setup. We didn't warm up, just went kind of straight into it. It really depends on time of the year, how long my regular sessions are. This time of year, maybe an hour in the morning and an hour in the afternoon.
And will you check your phone during that time?
Depends on, if it's an interval or something like that, I might. That's my problem with a lot of missed text usually, is that I either see it in the middle of a workout and I'm like, yeah, I'll get back to it. And I completely forget. That's usually what happens.
Yeah, that happens a lot. And then do sometimes like your dad or your mom will text you and you'll purposely not open it because you know you need to give it your full attention.
Yep.
And then like
Mostly,
6 hours later, you're like, oh shit.
Mainly my wife.
Oh yeah. Does your wife understand that? Yeah, that's with my wife too. If my wife sends me a text, I purposely, like if I got my hands full, I purposely won't open it and then forget. And then I explain that to her. Like, hey, your text needs my undivided attention. It can't just be like, oh.
Hillary knows if she needs me, she calls more than once. Then I'm like, okay, I'll stop whatever I'm doing to answer. And then most of the time, I answer out of breath, and if it's important, she'll say, I need you to stop, or she'll just say, call me back when you're done.
So just power call you.
Yeah. Yeah. Basically, just wants to assert her dominance over my life.
You've had the same phone phone number as long as I've known you. Is it getting crazy? Have you ever been tempted to change your phone number? Like, Jesus Christ, I'm giving this out to too many people.
Only in the last probably 6 months, to be honest. It's been some random, like, people found my phone number on the internet. I don't know how, but for the most part, it's been pretty, I guess, safe.
So, man, you really are aging. You don't want to get punched in the face.
Nope.
You're off of social media.
Yep.
And you're considering switching, not considering, but you've had the thought like, hey, maybe this phone number's run its course.
Yeah, maybe. I've had it since I got a phone when I was, 14 or 15, 16, I guess, when I started driving.
So that's the only phone number you've ever had your entire life?
The only phone number I've ever had.
And how many text messages do you think you get a day?
Too many.
500?
Right now, my phone, when I came back on this, I had 21 text messages.
And it was clear and it was at 0 when we started the...
0. Yeah, I have a weird phobia of having red numbers on my phone.
Of having what numbers?
Red numbers. Like the
like
number
the color red?
Top, like, where it says you have 3 emails or you have 3 text messages or 3 missed calls or voicemails. Yeah. I have a phobia of that.
Wow.
Not a phobia, but it just stresses me out.
Yeah, I know someone like that too, that no matter what, they open every single email. Do you open every single email you get?
I'll archive it, but it still gets off. The number goes away.
Wow, that's amazing. You know who else is like that?
Who?
Dave is like that.
Is he? Yeah, I can't do it. Like, when I see people that have thousands of emails, it really gives me anxiety.
Wow, that's awesome. And do you do email still?
Yeah. I've got 3 emails, I think.
And you go on email every day?
Yeah, that's kind of my toilet check usually, is check my emails first thing in the morning.
Wow. I would have thought that would have been like one of the first things that you just, fuck that, I'm not doing it.
Sourced.
Yeah.
No, I still like to talk to people, I'm not a complete hermit. I mean, I like my people.
Would you consider yourself a relationship expert?
No.
No? Don't you have to be?
Is anybody a relationship expert really, though?
Have you learned things about having relationships that are vital over the years?
For sure. I've screwed up more relationships than I've had good relationships. I would go with that. I'm not great with confrontation, and usually I just kind of ignore it versus actually going at it. And so over the last couple of years, communication is something that I am trying to work on, have not mastered, but something I definitely need to work on, and is vital to relationships.
And any key lessons from there that you'd like to share? Like,
I mean, obviously one elephant in the room is, me and Matt, the whole thing that happened a couple months ago, really could have just came down to better communication between the two of us.
And so basically just get ahead of things.
Yep. Get ahead of things, not let things snowball, and really turn into something that it's not,
Right. Right. And that you know like um I guess that's everyone. You
Yeah.
start spinning like so. If I think Rich is mad at me, then I start spinning a narrative, and that narrative doesn't help. It's just pushing us further and further and further apart. Now I have this whole. Before I want to talk to you again this morning, I have this whole story that I have to like move to the side
Right.
so that I can connect with you again. It's like Jesus.
Yeah. Yeah. But you know, there's just communication.
Are people allowed to spit on the floor in your gym during the workout?
I wouldn't appreciate people not like purposely spitting on the floor. If you get a little slobber or whatever, a little sinus, whatever, just clean it up when you're done. But I don't think anybody should spit on anybody's floor, really.
Right, in the gym. And if you have to spit, you just spit out the window? You just go to
Yeah,
the barn door and spit out?
there's doors within probably a 25 foot wherever you're at in the barn. So
So if you saw someone doing that, getting back to the communication piece, would you say, "Hey, dude, don't do that"?
I would just say, hey, go clean that up. And I think they would understand that, hey, I shouldn't do that next time.
Oh, there's the problem, Rich. There's the
Yeah,
problem.
I guess they understood. Assume makes an ass out of you and me, right?
Yeah, maybe you should just try saying, "Hey, asshole,
Hey, don't spit on my floor, please.
what's wrong with you? Why would you spit in here?"
Yeah,
I would see people come to HQ back in the day, and I would see them working out, and I would see them spit on the floor, and it would really, really trip me out, especially since there were doors
it's
everywhere.
pretty disrespectful, like, yeah, it's almost like it's your home. What it is for me, it is my home, but I don't know. Yeah, somebody else has got to clean that up. You're not going to clean if you're not going to clean it up. If you're going to clean it up, that's a little bit different. But
Even if I
yeah,
saw you spit in your gym, I wouldn't spit in your gym. Even if like I just
yeah,
saw you do it.
yeah. I don't spit in my gym. I spit outside. But like I said, here there's the center that's 50. The barn's 50 foot wide, so you can get to a door, within 25 feet at any point.
Why do you wear a mouthpiece? I mean, I could and do any other athletes wear a mouthpiece? And how
Yeah.
did you get into that?
So it's been probably a year and a half ago. I went to the dentist, and the dentist said I was starting to wear some holes in my teeth. And so they wanted me to start wearing some type of mouth guard when I trained, but they gave me some really big mouth guard that I couldn't really do anything with. And so um, there's some company reached out, Airwave, and they sent us some mouth guards, and I actually really liked it. It's kind of a bottom fit mouth guard, and it's supposed to help with cortisol levels and breathing and all that type of stuff. And I like it. It gives me something to think about other than how much I hurt. It gives me, a lot of people talk about how much I actually just play with it, in a workout. But
Yeah, it's supposed to be in your mouth, right?
yeah. Well, in between sets, it comes out and does, whatever. But I enjoy it. Like I said, it actually I feel like it helps, and like I said, it does take my mind off of the pain a lot of the time as well too. So it's not for everybody, but like I said, I like it. It's pretty easy to use, and it's a bottom fit, and so it's pretty secure.
Do you wear it at night when you sleep? Do you grind your teeth at
No,
night?
but I have a retainer from where I had braces that I wear probably, I'd say 90% of the time.
Wow. Wow,
Yeah.
that's
I went through, at 30, like an idiot, I went through and got braces. So I was like, I don't want to have to do this ever again, or I'm not going to do this again. So I might as well try to keep them as straight as possible.
I'm impressed. Is it hailing where you live?
Hailing? No, it's my kids beating on my door.
That's real. And how old is that truck?
This is I think an 18.
And you're okay with your kids beating on the door?
It's a farm truck,
That's awesome. Which kid is it?
Well, that's both Trice and Violet. Now they're just being animals is what they do. They're in their natural habitat.
What has Lakeland shared with you that lets you know that she knows what you're doing, what you're up to with your life? What kind of clues has she given you? Like, oh shit, she's starting to figure this shit out.
Yeah, it's been pretty cool over the last couple of years. Maybe I guess a couple months since she started public school. Last year we homeschooled her. She said she wanted to go to actual school, so we said, all right, let's give it a shot. If that's what you want to do, let's do it. And she loves it. But it was pretty cool. After the games, she took my name placard to school for show and tell. They had to bring 5 things that tells who you are, and that was what she wanted to do, is to take that. And so I mean, like I've never once told the kids, hey, let's do a workout, or let's go work out, but they're down here now, and if they see us do something, they've got their little barbells that they'll start doing workouts, do burpees, do push-ups. Lakeland now like tries to make up her own workout. She's like, Dad, I'm gonna, like, after the games, is pretty cool. I'm out here, it was Monday after the games, and I have to move. I'm a psycho when it comes to that, not
The
necessarily
Monday
training.
after the games. So the
I
games finished on Sunday, and Monday you came home and trained.
Yeah, not trained. I worked out. There's a difference in training and working out. But I was doing my thing on the rower and just doing some dumbbell bench. Like I said, I just had to move. I have to move every day. I just feel better that way. Well, Lakeland's down here, and she's kind of made up her own workout where she's running on the assault runner, and then she'd pick up the barbell, do some snatches. She'd climb up the rope. She'd, jump on the box, whatever she's doing. And she, when she'd finish, she was kind of like announcing the whole deal, and she was acting like she was Haley, which was really cool. And I shared that with Haley. She was pretty down, about where she'd finished, and which she did incredible. But I was like, you're still my kid's hero, like she, loves that. And I think it's cool that my daughters, both of them, get to see that, it's okay to do some hard work. They see these girls in here working their butts off and training hard. And it's really, really cool. I never once thought about, what they see from me, but they, like I said, hard work, lead by example type deal versus, tell them a bunch of stuff that, either it's going to go in one year and out the other, but when they get older, they might appreciate it.
Who is that buff guy I just saw walking in the background?
That was Luke Parker. Luke P. from The Bachelor. ABC's The Bachelor. Or Bachelorette. I don't know which one he was on. One of those two.
Was he the only? I think if you're the only guy, you're the Bachelor.
Okay, so he was on The Bachelorette because he was not the only guy.
So there was a bunch of guys he's competing against.
Yep.
Do you watch that show?
My wife watches that show. She got like a group of ladies that all get together and watch it and love it, and I can't do it.
Do you have a TV in your bed? Do you have a TV in your bedroom?
Yeah, we do. And all 5 of us sleep in the same bedroom. So, and 7 if you count the dogs.
Wait, it starts like that? You guys sleep together and it starts like that?
Yeah, we have a mattress. So,
oh, this is great. This makes me feel better.
About the tornado that happened probably 2 years. It's been almost a year and a half now. Mm-hmm. It was pretty devastating to the area, and Hillary got panicked by it. And honestly, it shook me up a little bit. Like, I just, I was a firefighter for years, and I'd seen some things, but nothing prepares you for that. So when that happened, all the kids' bedrooms are upstairs. And so now everybody's all back in our room. And so we have a mattress in the floor for the kids. But if I'm being honest, I sleep in that.
Yes.
I sleep on that by myself, and it's great. Honestly, it works. Like the girls are in the bed. Trice has his own bed in our room, and I sleep on a queen mattress in the floor.
You got to hear this, Haley. So all the kids start in their bedrooms, right? Yep. And actually they have their own bedrooms, but they don't sleep in their own bedrooms. They all sleep in one giant king size bed in the twins room together. Yep. So we put them to bed, and then usually like I'll stay up in front of my computer till like midnight, and I'll see at least 1 or 2 go marching by into my bedroom, Yep. And then usually so one day, I don't know, a couple of years ago, I just said, fuck this. And I just went online and ordered a mattress, and a mattress showed up, and I just threw it on the floor in our bedroom. And some nights I'll go to bed and the kids won't have come to our room yet. And Haley's will be like, yo, what's up? And I'm like, oh, sorry. Cause I'll just go straight to my mattress like a dog. And I'll be like, oh, sorry. And then I climb out of but I set my mattress up perfect because I know I'm going back to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
So then it's like, I sleep better by myself. And so it is what it is, and I sleep great. And Hillary loves to cuddle, and the girls love to cuddle, and I'm like, you know what, it works for us. So
yeah, that's awesome.
Try the whole put everybody in their room thing. Like, everybody just starts and stays in our room. We'll usually watch a little TV, watch some Disney Plus, and then usually lights out about 8:45, 9 o'clock, and then everybody falls asleep.
God, that makes me feel so much better. I don't know if I would have ever admitted that story if you hadn't
I
gone first.
always, I'm
Thank you
always
for being a leader.
anybody that asks me about parenting advice, I'm like, there's two things. Don't listen to anybody. Do it yourself.
Yeah.
And don't let your kids ever sleep in the room. And there's what it is. It is what it is.
Do what I say, not what
Do as
I
I
do.
say, not as I do. That's what my dad always said.
Did you sleep with did you sleep in your parents' bed? Did you sleep with your dad or your mom?
I think, like you are saying with your kids, I know we went to bed and then every once in a while we'd end up, I remember now sleeping in my own bed, but that's like the earliest memories I have. I do remember maybe sleeping on the floor in their bedroom once or twice, but I think, like I said, I think most of the time I was in my own room. So my earliest memories, like I said, are in my bedroom.
Yeah, I loved my own space, but then I loved getting up in the morning and then climbing into bed with them. But I loved my own space.
Yeah.
I love my own space.
The kids, like I said, they're not going to do it forever, and that's what we always come back to is they'll move on eventually, and so it'll be what it is. I don't know many people that sleep with their parents still, so it'd be kind of weird and creepy.
How many years have you been married, Rich?
I've been married for 10 years, so been with Hillary for 12.
And do you think that the most challenging times, and I'm not picking anything in specific, I'm just speaking from my own experience, do you think the most challenging times are behind you? And I'm saying that with the presupposition that all relationships are challenging.
Yeah. I would go with that for sure. For us, the hardest times were when each kid was under 6 months old, just because they're so, like I said, she's so involved and so good with them as a baby, that, I've not felt like I got pushed by the wayside, but we just didn't spend as much time together and didn't get as much time together. And so I would definitely say, I am not opposed to having more kids. I would love to have more kids, but man, I am over the baby stage, I don't think I can go back to that. So, yeah, I would say so. Me and Hillary, we understand each other really well now and get along really well and kind of know what works for our relationship. So,
how long were you guys together before you had kids?
We were together probably 6 years before we had kids. And then we were married for 4.
So, okay. So it's almost like having a new relationship once you have kids, right? Like I was with Haley for a long time before I had kids.
Everything.
Yeah, yep. You're like, man, this is great. We get along great. And then all of a sudden you got kids in the mix and you guys are like, oh shit,
wait,
we're two new people. Yeah.
Exactly. Yep.
And so that's why I asked that, because 10 years in of being married and your oldest child being 7, now if you don't have it figured out by now, and by figured out, I'm not saying that everything's hunky dory, but like what you said, you know each other really well. You know what triggers her. She knows what triggers you. And you guys try to just respect each other's and work on each other or work on yourselves.
Sure. Yeah.
It's awesome. Rich, we are at an hour and 4 minutes.
You tell me, boss.
I really appreciate your time. I have 2 more pages of questions, but I'm really stoked that I got your time.
We can do it again. Yeah, we can do it again.
You the man. Thank you.
My kids are melting down outside. They're pretty pissed that I'm not allowing them in the truck right now. So, yeah, we can do this again.
Okay.
If people want to hear it again, I don't know.
They will.
Hey, Sevan, don't ever talk to that guy again. He sucks.
Listen,
we get enough of him on his YouTube channel. Like, leave him alone.
This is what all the comments are going to be, and I get it. They're going to say this. I just looked at one randomly. Sevan, why are you being so well behaved with Rich? How do you not ask them how they do adult stuff when they share a bedroom? See, so listen. I am not in denial that I am being very. This is a.
Well, next time you can ask whatever. The gloves are off. Now that we're friends again. From your opening spot.
Yeah, and not that we were never friends, but I had a lot of
kidding.
Okay. But I had a lot of yeah.
It was a joke. Sorry, Mike. I needed to communicate that, hey, I'm gonna joke for a second. Don't take this the wrong way. Because I am an asshole. Like Hillary tells me all the time, she's like, hey, our kids don't understand sarcasm. You can't talk like that. And I'm like, well, they're gonna have to learn sarcasm,
Yeah. we probably have very similar attitudes like that. My kids, their favorite thing to say to me is, "Are you joking?"
I know.
Like I'll just be like, "Hey, get out of here and do 1,000 burpees and don't come back till you're done." They're like, well, and they like I see a tear coming down and they're like, "Are you joking?" I'm like, "Yeah, you can't do 1,000 burpees." All right, man. Thank you very much. Ryan, will you take us off live so I can say something to Rich that I don't want anyone to hear?
Bye, everybody.